China is one of the oldest countries that consumes edible insects. Eating insects in China dates back more than 3,000 years. In Chinese ancient classical texts, not only have species of edible insects been recorded, but also the ways of catching and cooking them have been introduced. As society developed and human living conditions improved, some knowledge of eating edible insects has been lost, but the custom of eating insects is still maintained in some places in China, especially in the minority areas of Yunnan province of the southwest. The local minorities often serve edible insects such as bamboo insects, Chinese caterpillar, fungus, locusts, ants, termites, bees, wasp larvae, and silkworm pupae to important guests. Eating insects is very popular and they can be ordered at many restaurants all year round in Yunnan province and other places in China. Insects are consumed in many parts of China and other countries for a variety of reasons. One cultural tradition: insects have been a part of Chinese cuisine for centuries. Different regions have their own traditional ways of preparing and eating insects, which often reflect local tastes and customs. 2. Nutritional value: insects are highly nutritious. They are rich in protein, vitamins, and minerals. They can be a valuable dietary component, especially in areas where other sources of protein might be scarce or expensive. 3. Sustainability: insects are considered an environmentally friendly food source. They require less land, water, and feed compared to traditional livestock. They also produce fewer greenhouse gases, making them a more sustainable choice. 4. Flavor and texture: many people find insects to be flavorful and have a satisfying texture. They are often used in various dishes, from snacks to more elaborate preparations, and can offer unique culinary experiences. Economic reasons: in some regions, insects are a cost-effective food source. They can be farmed easily and often have lower production costs compared to other animal proteins. Insect bodies are rich in proteins, amino acids, fat, carbohydrates, vitamins, and trace elements. Insects have attracted the attention of non-specialists and researchers as a complementary protein resource. As the human population increases, the lack of food resources has become increasingly problematic. It is therefore necessary to find and develop new food resources to meet requirements. There are many species of edible insects in China. Different edible insects are consumed in different regions depending on the distribution of insects and local food preferences. At present, 178 common species of edible insects have been identified and named in China. They are from 96 genera, 53 families, and 11 orders. Many common edible insects belong to Lepidoptera, Coleoptera, and Hymenoptera. 4 stages of insects are edible. However, larvae are most often consumed. Common edible species in Coleoptera are Arthinoceros. The raw protein content of larvae in Ephemeroptera is 26%. Odonata larvae, 40 to 65%. Homoptera larvae and eggs, 40 to 57%. Hemiptera, 42 to 73%. Coleoptera larvae, 23 to 66%. And Lepidoptera, 20 to 70%. According to analyzed data, the protein content of insects is obviously higher than in most plants. The protein content of some insects is also higher than that of chicken eggs, meat, and fowl. Protein is composed of more than 20 kinds of amino acids which benefit the human body. Of these, 8 amino acids are necessary for human nutrition as they cannot be synthesized in the human body. Analysis of more than 100 edible insects have shown that they contain the necessary amino acids content, 10 to 30%, encompassing 35 to 50% of all kinds of amino acid, which is close to the amino acid model proposed by the Food and Agricultural Organization of the WHO. Parts of insects have similar protein contents and are comparable to good plant protein. Fat is one of the main components of the human body. Fat stores and supplies energy as well as supports and protects different organs. Fat can also help in the absorption of vitamins. Phosphate, carbohydrate, and cholesterol and similar fatty materials combined with protein are the components of many tissues and cells. They can form fat, protein, and cell membranes. Recent studies have shown that phosphatide can make brain healthy, reduce blood fat, clean cholesterol, cure fatty liver and cirrhosis, help cells and skin grow, and postpone senility. Fatty acids can be separated into saturated fatty acid and unsaturated fatty acids. Unsaturated fatty acids can help human growth, protect the skin, and reduce the formation of thrombus and clotting of blood platelets. Reports and analyzed results have shown that many edible insects are rich in fat. Their fat content is higher at the larva and pupa stages, at the adult stage. Recent research reveals that insects have considerable amounts of polysaccharides, which can enhance the immunity function of the human body. Chitin is a macromolecular compound that has high nutritive and food values. As a kind of low-caloric food, chitin also has medicinal value, for it can stop bleeding, prevent thrombus and help heal wounds. More than 90% of insect skin is composed of chitin. Mineral element analyses have shown that edible insects are rich in nutritive elements such as potassium, sodium, calcium, copper, iron, zinc, manganese and phosphorus. Vitamins are a group of organic compounds that are necessary for metabolism in human bodies. As vitamins cannot be synthesized in the human body, they must be supplied constantly by food. Studies on vitamins in edible insects are insufficient. However, edible insects contain carotene in vitamins A, B1, B2, B6, D, E, K and C. From the analyses above, it can be seen that insects are a good protein resource, in which there are rich proteins and amino acids, especially essential amino acids, for the human diet. Insects also can supply rich fat, fatty acids, nutritive elements, vitamins and carbohydrates, especially high unsaturated fatty acid, which has high nutritive value. There are other substances in insects which are good for human health, for example, antibacterial proteins and peptides, enzymes and hormones. Certain insects represent excellent health foods. The most common ways of cooking insects are frying, deep frying, quick frying, braising, stewing, boiling, steaming and roasting. Edible insects are eaten in China as a kind of mountain treasure food, although the insects were used as a food resource in ancient times. In cities, people eat edible insects because they taste delicious and come from nature. This means there are no pesticides, no food additives and no other artificial materials. In minority groups, people eat insects as part of their custom. Rhino beetle larvae are the larvae of the Asian rhinoceros beetle. They are rich in protein, calcium, phosphorus and iron. The larvae are found in the rotting wood of the palm tree or other species of tree. The larvae feed on rotten wood and the adults feed on nectar, plant sap and fruit. They are processed by boiling them in water and dehydrating them to lock in nutrients. They can be eaten whole or blended and mixed with other foods. Oryx rhinoceros, also known as coconut rhinoceros beetle, Asiatic rhinoceros beetle, and coconut palm rhinoceros beetle, too, is a large species of beetle, typically 4 to 5 centimeters long, belonging to the rhinoceros beetle subfamily. Oryx rhinoceros attacks coconut palms and other palms such as the economically important oil palm. It can cause serious damage to the developing fronds, leaves, up to death of the palm. The beetle breeds in decaying palm trunks or other organic matter like sawdust or compost heaps.